Welcome to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. This podcast features powerful hypnosis, so do not listen while driving or operating machinery. This recording is not suitable for those with epilepsy or severe mental health issues. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hello, it's Adam here, and in today's episode of The Hypnotist, I'm going to be doing a random hypnosis session based around a destination, 2 emotions and 3 nouns, just to see what ingredients get thrown into the mix for me to turn into a live hypnosis session. Thanks again for all of the messages of support. The podcast numbers are booming, which is fantastic, and it's good for me to kind of get that feedback that, you know, people like this content. So that's the fuel for me to keep making this content, because if people didn't like it, then why do it? So thank you for listening. Really appreciate all the support and those messages. So let's start with the randomness. So the destination is, okay, yet another Australian one. Australia seems to be a really popular destination on Earth Roulette here. Wagga Wagga. I've never heard of it. I'm guessing it's more rural in nature. Let's see what it says about Wagga Wagga. All right, it's actually pronounced Wagga Wagga, which is interesting. It's the largest inland city in New South Wales, a population of about 60,000 people, located on the banks of the Murrumbidgee River. The city is universally referred to as, I'm assuming that's Wagga. So there is a wildlife centre. Let's see what else is going on there. Botanical gardens, that could be interesting. There is a heritage centre. So it looks like it's got a bit of a military kind of background. Sailors, soldiers, art galleries, miniature railway, and a winery. Okay, but I think the botanical gardens is home to a zoo and a very big botanical garden. So I think that's what we're going to use as the stimulation for the hypnosis location. We're going to randomly generate 2 emotions. So this is shock and surprise, which are interesting because they're very similar in nature. So shock and surprise. And then the 3 nouns. Let's see what. It'd be interesting if shock or surprise or something like that comes up. It hasn't. No. Examination, extinct, and snake. Okay, so examination could mean a test, but it could also mean the process of studying something. Extinct, obviously something that isn't around anymore. And snake, 2 meanings there generally that I interpret from that. One is the animal, the reptile. Obviously, you get venomous snakes. You get, you know, ones that tend to use process of restriction, like pythons, boa constrictors, things like that. But also a snake can represent a person that is someone that can't be trusted. So again, we might be able to fuse those words, those meanings into the hypnosis session. So I'm going to use my 15-minute timer. I have no idea where this hypnosis session is going to lead to or what it's going to cover, but I'm going to go with the flow and see. So if you're listening to this to experience the hypnosis, find a quiet place where you won't be disturbed, relax, and enjoy the session. Take a deep breath in, and as you breathe in, Just imagine breathing in a feeling of calm and relaxation. As you exhale, if it's safe to do so, relax those eyelids and close those eyes. And in doing so, notice that it becomes even easier to listen to the music background, the sound of my voice, and also easier to notice what's happening in your own body. So much of what we do goes unnoticed. When you blink, you don't notice. When you breathe, you don't notice. But now as you breathe in and breathe out, get a sense. Is it your chest that's moving? Or lower, like your diaphragm? As you breathe in and breathe out, notice if there's tension around your forehead, jaw, perhaps neck or shoulders. And then as you breathe in, imagine breathing in a resourceful feeling of relaxation. And to your surprise, as you exhale, notice that part of that tension leaves your body in your outward breath, melting away, taking you deeper and deeper, relaxed. I want you to create an image in your mind of a beautiful garden. Not just any garden, a botanical garden. A garden of all different varieties of plants, fruits, vegetation. Imagine this garden being so big it's over many, many acres. So many different vegetables, plants, flowers, orchids, all different varieties. There's maybe trees. I want you to get a sense that you are walking through this impressive large garden, and you get a sense that maybe this garden is far away, perhaps in Australia, perhaps in a city called Wagga Wagga. I want you to get a sense that as you explore this botanical garden, you can't help but notice the fragrances. All the different possible smells that come from different petals and flowers. All the different colours. Sometimes it's too easy to not really appreciate all the different colours. In a single flower there can be over 100 different shades of colour. As you walk around, experiencing those smells, I want you to notice there is a particular part of the gardens that intrigue you. Maybe it's because the plants are larger or more vibrant. I want you to get a sense. Get a sense that it's generating curiosity in you. And I want you to find a particular flower. And I want you to examine that flower. Look at it in tiny detail. And perhaps you can imagine feeling the texture of the stem, maybe the petals. It has leaves. And the closer you examine, you get a sense of what this flower represents. This flower to you represents an element of your life that is beautiful, it's something that you value. It's something that's been there for a while, and maybe as you look around and you notice how many people just walk past this flower in this botanical garden, that just because something is precious and beautiful doesn't necessarily mean that people give it the attention that it deserves. All too often, we only really appreciate what we have when it becomes extinct. Maybe that's a relationship that ends, a friendship that just disappears. Maybe it's a time in your life that you didn't really appreciate how valuable it was until it wasn't there anymore. As you look around these botanical gardens, I want you to get a sense that all of these flowers still exist. But in the history of Earth, there are millions of species of flowers that simply don't exist anymore. They've become extinct. And you start to think of what it takes for something to thrive, to exist. And I wonder if it isn't two main things. They say that the grass is greenest where you water it most. So maybe it's care and attention that really enables any area that you value in your life to thrive. But it's also something more than that. From an evolutionary perspective, every flower, every plant has a function, has an impact, is part of an overall ecosystem. And therefore, if something is valuable in your life, maybe you contribute to that thing, but equally that thing contributes to you. What does it add to your life? How surprised would you be if one day that thing that you value so much that this flower represents just wasn't there anymore? What would you replace it with? What impact would it have on you emotionally? And as you continue to look at that flower in that botanical garden in Wagga Wagga there in Australia, you see something move not too far away. A long green creature, and it occurs to you that this is a snake. Now, you don't know if this is a poisonous snake, if it's dangerous in any way. But if the flower represents a part of your life that you value, I want you to imagine that a snake represents a threat to whatever it is that you value. Now, that snake might be complacency. It might be a change in circumstance. The snake may represent a shift in values, priorities. And as you continue to imagine what that snake could be, you realize that everything you value in life is there temporarily. And I want you to get a sense that you're examining every part of your life, thinking, how can you protect what is valuable? And also, what do you have to do to shock, surprise, or scare the snakes in your life so they move away from the things that you value most? what if the snakes in your life are parts of your own personality? A desire to lie, perhaps, be lazy, take shortcuts. What could you do to create a shock for the parts of yourself that are a threat to your overall happiness and well-being? What can you do to scare them away? And sometimes the easiest way to do it is to bring into your attention and awareness, into your consciousness, that these things that you value most are not guaranteed. There are endless stories of people that thought they had it all and then lost it. So therefore, what can you do to create a shock to your own system, to raise your standards, to value what you're grateful for, to scare away any threats to that? Because the flowers in your life are alive now. But I want you to think back in your past of those things that you were grateful for that are now extinct, to remind yourself that nothing is guaranteed to last forever. And in doing so, you now have unlocked the key resource of not just mindfulness, but vigilance. Being willing to protect what's valuable and scare away any threats to that. To shock them, to surprise them, even if the threats are within you, yourself. And imagine the snakes all slithering away, and you're just left with that beautiful flower. And locate that feeling of gratitude within you and make it bigger and more powerful. And then, there in that Botanical Gardens in Wagga Wagga, you realize this is just a figment of your own imagination. A story that's created images, that perhaps has created neural connections to create distinctions or new meanings that enable you to make different choices, to protect what's good and be vigilant at any threats towards it. But it's all in your head, because right now you're listening to my voice firmly in the present wherever you are right now. Take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose, because very soon I will count from 1 to 10 to awaken you, and you will awaken feeling grateful for what you have and vigilant to protect whatever could threaten it. Regularly examining your life to audit what's good and examine what could threaten that, to ensure that the good things stay good and don't become extinct. You will awaken feeling very grateful, very resourceful, and optimistic, valuing all that is beautiful in your life. Starting to count to awaken you. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.
Thank you for listening to The Hypnotist with Adam Cox, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. To automatically receive the latest episodes, please subscribe. If you'd like to support the show, please share this episode with just one friend you think it could help. And if this episode helped you, please leave us a 5-star review.
Thanks for watching today. I hope you found that useful, interesting, or even just a nice experience, just to kind of change how you think about your own life and what's important. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. Maybe recommend this to someone that you think would benefit from that. If you have any observations, feedback, or anything you want to share, put it in the comments and I'll certainly take that on board. Thanks again for watching the show, and you take care.